That's funny, I thought I was streaming this whole time. I was just in preview mode. Oh well. Yeah, I've already been going for 20 minutes. I'm just commenting stuff. Yeah, I think I got it with this method. Just using the, taking the value of wave and pushing it to, that value and assigning that to this wave works just fine. Kinda figured it'd be a good idea to go through and comment everything one time before I go forward. Make things a lot easier. Oh, not much, Fluffy. I'm just mostly working on commenting today. Don't really have the mic open for the most part. Um, how you doing? How you doing today? Cool deal. What kind of fun stuff have you seen today? Or is that why you've been hopping? Because you still haven't been able to settle on something that's like, yeah, this is what I'll watch for like the next 2 hours. I mean, I know there's all sorts of people that do really cool streams all throughout the day, so it's just a matter of finding the right people sometimes. But I appreciate you coming through here and hanging out. Are you in Europe or Australia or something, or you just don't feel like sleeping? Infinity Wars. Remind me again, which one Infinity Wars? Was that the tower defense one, or it's like a space RTS? Washington. Okay. Card game? Oh, neato. I think these three are pretty self-explanatory. I'll just... Whoops. Come on down here. Gotcha, gotcha. Alright, see you in a few. Tinker's Construct for Minecraft. Oh, neat. Is that a mod that somebody's working on, or some sort of extra functionality? Or is Tinker's Construct how you make the mods and stuff? Oops. Well, I don't really think this is linking up right now anyway. So I'm gonna save, close them both, and open them back up again, and see if that makes the thing do the thing that I tried to do with the thing. Oh right, I only have it assigned to the purple targets. I gotcha. There it is. So if I look up a target wave 001 unit 001, that's a part of target script. That's cool. Good to know. I kind of appreciate the Ultra Games Ninja Mutant Ninja Turtle game because they didn't have the license for the music. They had to do their very best making stuff up that kind of sounds close. But it's the only one where every single tune isn't pretty much just a remix of the Ninja Turtles theme one way or another. I've had a stretch one time on this station where I just kept hearing all the different Ninja Turtles music, and maybe it was a DJ playing it or something, and I realized, holy crap, there's only one of them that actually doesn't have the music. It's actually kind of refreshing considering the rest of them you just keep getting pounded by that same theme over and over and over and over. And it's not a bad theme, just keep it to like once or twice a day. It's not a commercial. Yeah, all the Ninja Turtles music, other than for the first one for NES, all of them, especially the arcade ones, it seemed like all the tracks were, or at least a good portion of them, just used the Ninja Turtles theme song, but redone in different ways to match the level that you're on. So you'll hear that same theme just in various different ways. For some reason, I can bear it a lot more with Bomberman, though. I guess I really love the groove of that theme. This Bomberman uses that same theme over and over, but it uses it in a lot of different ways. The theme for Bomberman I'm talking about, not the Ninja Turtles theme. And there's kind of two main parts to that theme that it kind of get interplayed differently in the different songs. Sometimes you really have to listen for them, but man, those composers that made that stuff, they did a great job with it. Bomberman soundtrack, probably very underrated. Okay, so the Stat Keeper stuff is pretty self-explanatory. Yeah. I'm doing pretty good, Red. How are you doing today? And welcome, welcome. I'm just doing commenting today, by the way. It's not going to be quite as much flash and zazz, but it's a very important thing to do. Okay, looks like this is pretty well commented. Arlington, Texas? Oh yeah, coding life is all flash and zazz. I can make particles appear, make like fire and stuff. I'm not doing that right now, but I can. I'm a wizard, you know. Okay, this is pretty well commented for what I want to do. Well, let's pull up. How's crosshair control looking? Oh yeah, the purple crosshair. I don't even know if I've defined that one yet. I'll work on that part later. I'm just commenting right now. Toilet drawn it for 5 minutes. You're a video editor? Oh, cool deal. You use After Effects or Vegas Pro or what's that one that's super expensive? I can't remember. Which program or programs do you use? And is it like TV or broadcast media or live streams, or what's the general nature of the stuff you work on? I'm really interested actually. I've got a bit of video editing in me. Final Cut, nice. Seems like the professional choice. Do you use a Mac or a PC? Adobe Suite. Ah, gotcha. Yeah, I use the, I've still got CS4 After Effects. It gets the job done. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I need to get back into the video editing. Probably need to do video intros for all of my shows to make them look a little more fancy and appealing. Access. Let's see here. Oh, thanks, Red. This actually isn't a haircut. It's quite the opposite. Garrus? Isn't he the guy from Mass Effect 3? And if that's the person I'm thinking of, he's always down because he's a badass. Is that the guy? Isn't his name the sniper dude with the funny face in the Mass Effect series? Yeah, I never had any problem keeping Garrus up. He was always the serious badass. Of course, it was also the tactics that really made him so useful. Let's see. So this is if I was the way this is set up is if I was just gonna put up a generic crosshair and then have it change the color differently. Well, yeah. Why wouldn't you just charge it? I guess all of this I'll just what the hell? That was weird. Hey, Joe, how you doing? Welcome, welcome. No, I think I will keep this open just for that else at the end, really. Not really. All this is doing right here is just making sure that the crosshairs are at least red or blue. It's like the 70s up in here all of a sudden. This is from Turrican, isn't it? Yeah, Desert Rocks. I really should check into getting the updated version of that soundtrack. You can't tell me that doesn't sound like the 70s, or at the very latest, the early 80s. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Great, great music. I only played one in the actual series. That was the one for Super Nintendo. It was fun, but I'd imagine the earlier ones were probably a much bigger deal because by the time the SNES was around, there were already a lot of clean platformers. Going back that far, it was. I found it to be a pretty fun game, but I hadn't really played some of those earlier ones yet. Maybe I should do that at some point. Did they also have sound effects, or was it like, audio ducking when the sound effects so you don't hear the music, or was there no sound effects and it was just music the entire time with the earlier ones? What's this? Nice. Real music? I mean, like something that wasn't chiptunes? Xenon Mage. Not familiar with that. Xenon 2 Mega Blast. I'll have to check that out. That looks like a really clean game. Oh my goodness. Cool. Yeah, I just looked at it real quick. That looks like a fun game. Definitely helps set the precedent for a lot of the future one. Nice, some Final Fantasy VI overworld theme. Is that what music? Yeah, I think this is the overworld. Shadow of the Beast? What was that one about? Yeah. Mega Man 2 is such a good game. Shadow of the Beast. Yeah, I'll have to check that one out too. Honestly, I kind of feel like I would have been happier having like an Amiga or a C64 growing up. We had an NES and we had an Atari, but Man, there were so many good games for those systems. Fluffy. Yeah. Well, a lot of good things are coming to PC. Plus, the other thing, I prefer playing things on PC myself. Oh yeah, I love RPG gaming. I grew up on the Final Fantasy series and Dragon Warrior, and playing more modern ones like Xenosaga, Lost Odyssey, Last Remnant. What was that other one? There was one for the Wii. I can't remember the name of it. It was also a really fun game. Great voice acting and stuff too. Yeah, I love RPGs. No, we never got Xenoblade, unfortunately. That's one that we did want to get, but there are some issues, and we never ended up purchasing it. I think that was also one that had some really limited distribution. It was the one with the Welsh voice actors, and there's the one character as like the tough redhead who's like always getting drunk and getting into fights and stuff. You folks remember what game I'm talking about? Please list it off. They're like mercenaries, and the lead character is trying to become a knight, and his buddy's like trying to become a knight too, and yeah. And then things, and then they realize that the empire and the kingdom is kind of wonky. Rowdy Roddy Piper. Yeah. Actually, yes. No, it wasn't Fire Emblem. It was a unique game. It didn't have a series that came before it. You know, I'm gonna go dig it up. This is gonna drive me nuts. I'm back. It was The Last Story for Wii. Really, really, really fun game. And if I remember correctly, the combat system was very satisfying. And I think it was the voice acting, like the combat and the voice acting were two of the things that were really notable about the game. But just everything about it was really, really well done. Sure. I mean, there's a lot of them out there, but yeah. So self-explanatory. It's like I commented this out pretty well. Alright. Save. We got level manager, right? Yeah, we got level manager. And we got shot script. Shot script doesn't need much. Nice. $19.93, cool deal. Yeah, I can see it's got the vector graphics going on there. So if it wasn't already obvious by all the cacophony that came before, you should probably know what song this is by now if you know what song it is. Or at least who wrote it. And you're definitely old enough to know who this is. Hell, you might have even seen him live. Maybe I want a fixed update there instead. In fact, there's probably a few places where I could stand to use a fixed update instead. I use Delta time here, but that's fine. Alright, see you later. Have a good one. Oh yeah, that's right. They're doing the Defiance game, huh? Cool deal. Stat Keeper looks like it's pretty well noted out. Let me look it over one more time. Cool, see you later, Joe. That's right, this is just all my feedback information. Now I'm gonna think about things for a moment here. So I think the thing to consider right now is how I want to actually do the movement systems for the targets. Because I could just, put them in the world and give them a velocity, and that would be good for the moment. But I want to be able to do way more than that. Being able to give them more intelligent patterns, like being able to jump around between 4 points that it just kind of patrols between or whatever until it's destroyed. Something where if it's placed at 0, 0, 0 with the movement pattern, it'll instead offset and move it in a like an orbiting radius around the actual point that it was spawned at. Various things like that. The different movement patterns I feel like are going to be a big deal, especially being able to set up more in-depth ones where I could actually have a wave spawn with 5 targets and they all kind of move together. If the middle one gets destroyed, they all just stop. Something like that. Or that they move faster as more of the targets around on that cluster get destroyed. That's the stuff I'd really love to be able to do. So I'm not 100% sure exactly how I want to approach it and where I want to approach it. If I want to have a separate class or something, not a separate, well, it'll be a separate class, yeah, but a separate script, and have each of the movement patterns be its own function or its own class, or how that would work. But being able to just make it very easy to assign a movement pattern, and maybe even being able to pull the movement assignment and put a different thing on. Other things that might be nice is screen wrapping. Either with the target, with the crosshairs, if it goes off the edge, it just comes out the other side. That might be really, really distracting to players or really throw them off. Or just general teleporters that once a crosshair gets close enough to a certain point, it just gets kicked down to a different point on the map, on the screen there. Could be an interesting way to make some interesting targets. Maybe even have some targets where it's got this little thing orbiting around it that you have to sneak around that to get the shot in, otherwise it'll just teleport your crosshair away. I mean, this is all that sort of, it gets into feature creep territory, but at the same time, it's what I want to do in the here and now to move forward is also what I need to kind of figure out. So for right now, I'm thinking I might just go with a something that just assign the velocity to a direction and assign a rotation, so when targets come in the world, they can be going some direction slowly, and maybe even do a check at some point to see if they change direction or increase speed or something like that. Let's see, what's good with the notepad? I haven't looked at this in a while. Okay. So, when something gets destroyed, I can use the target tag to look through the list and make sure that there's an equal number of targets as there are objects in the scene with the target label, and if there's a discrepancy, being able to do something about it. So that'll be for later down the road. Target prefab should allow the assignment of the proper material with the associated behavior. and that's right now the red, blue, or purple. Multiple shapes and types to be selected. Now that's also something that I've been kind of thinking about, is adding different versions of the target and giving them different restrictions, like maybe having different shapes, and that determines how it moves. The circle or the targets that you've been seeing now, just very basic. They can move in any direction at a single speed, or at a velocity. It's no big deal. Maybe square ones that only move along X and Y, doing hexagon ones that maybe move along the diagonals, as well as whatever the flat faces, if they're oriented to X or oriented to Y, oriented to X or Y, I should say. Triangle is another one. I don't know if that would be limited to 3 movement, or a diamond, or whatever that only goes in diagonal. I mean, there's a lot of different ways I could do it, and doesn't have to necessarily associate the shape with the movement pattern. That just make it visually more easy to identify for folks. And then we also haven't gotten into any of the fancy colors right now. It's just red, blue, and purple. I want to have white targets that they're a basic target. It has, essentially, it's as if it has no shielding or anything, and any old hit can take it out. Orange is something that I was thinking of. Do it. I'm not sure if it'd be the entire color of the target's orange, or if it's just got an orange glow around it, but when you hit that, it would explode and hit the other targets nearby with that same color. So that could be a fun thing to do if I have a big wave, big old sheet of things coming out. That the way the players do it is they hit all of the orange ones to create the explosions, and then destroy all of the little leftover stragglers. And the green ones I was thinking of as being shielded, or maybe having like a little green shield looking thing orbiting around it to let the player know it's going to take more than one hit to take it out. I've also thought about different health levels, or having kind of patterning on the ring. So if it's a red target and it's got a blue ring around it and then a red ring around it, that means you have to hit it with red first, then blue, and then you can eliminate it with red. And if you hit it in any other order, you'll just produce errors, or maybe even tack on more layers when you would otherwise have removed them. And that's another thing. The shape could be not just the movement pattern, but other rules, whether or not it can produce an error condition where it adds layers on if you hit it with the wrong thing. Of course, that could also be another fun sort of mode if the error stuff is set up, actually having a mode of gameplay that's like the opposite of dual input defender, where instead of targets going along and attacking my bases, I've got targets that I'm basically sending out, and in order to do the maximum damage, I have to build up the layers on them to make them more powerful before they actually get to their destination. That could be another fun way to do it. And then, yeah, the target types, like I was saying about circle, square, hexagon. A plus shape could do kind of an interesting pattern of some sort. X shape could do an interesting pattern. I definitely want to have something that's kind of spinning around in a like a little orbiting kind of radius, so it stays in kind of an area that you can track it. Like if the game object is moving like this, the target is moving kind of like this around it. Makes it a little bit tougher to hit, but not too tough. It's still kind of a predictable pattern, and it would allow for really kind of fun timing things, especially if I have a combo system later. So you've got two things kind of spiraling in from different sides, and you want to try to hit them right when they line up in the middle. Again, I'm talking a huge amount of feature creep here. Just getting the basic stuff in and then working from there is probably the best idea. Concave, 3-pointed, 4-pointed, 5-pointed star, yeah. So I mean, I've got a lot of different stuff that I'd love to have as targets, and probably even more than that. Now, going into here, into the challenge type, so they're the classic modes. Defender is, like I was saying, there's targets moving along a predefined path, going to the 3 different bases. If any of those bases is destroyed, that's the end for the game. As I think the way I designed it is that the left and the right were basically the cannons that were firing, and then the center one was the home base that you were trying to defend and evacuate. I actually had a whole story written out for Dual Input Defender. It just doesn't really come through very well unless you read every single bit of text and interpret it. Gallery was the one I've shown a lot, where it's, targets that are put on the screen in waves. Sometimes they move, sometimes they don't, and just being able to eliminate them as quickly and effectively as possible. That's mostly what I'm looking to rebuild right now, is just the gallery version. And as well with the gallery, there was also the infinity version, which pretty much would keep spawning targets in every quadrant. I divided it horizontally and vertically, I should say. I'm messing up my axes when I make hand gestures there. But it pretty much would be like one here, one here, one here, one here, and then they just keep on spawning in order, and you're just trying to keep on top of them. It's really, really difficult. But that could be a fun thing to add back in to include. And then those in Defender. And I think once I rebuild the original functionality of the original ones, then I'll go back through and mess around with some of these new modes, like the roguelike shump that I was talking about, the targets and what each target type does and how it performs and how it behaves, changes every session. The power-up properties, what each power-up does, how it looks, how you find it in the world, what it can come from, those all change. So it's basically trying to take the mechanics of a roguelike and a shump and put them together into something that uses the dual input interface. I'd imagine it's something where you're kind of feeling like you're moving in one direction, so the targets are going off the other way, and you're just doing everything you can to blast them all before they go off the edge. And Defender Plus would be taking the initial idea of Defender, but then moving on, doing more with it, adding more targets, adding more paths, adding more story, more levels, maybe having only a few waves per zone, and then moving into another zone, and then another zone, and another zone, having more and more paths, more and more things to defend, non-paths, things that are areas where there's nothing actually drawn for the player to use as a guide, but the target can still move along those areas. Targets that just fly, like I could imagine some of like the concave 5-pointed star being a little flying ship thing that you've just got to shoot down before it makes a beeline to one of your bases. And then Gallery Plus, just improving upon the original dual input gallery functionality, adding more patterns, more movement types, more target types. When you finish off a wave, immediately having the next wave spawn, or when however it would need to work, but definitely improving the timing, because the version I have right now, when I complete a wave, it doesn't move on to the next one. I have to wait until those targets basically would have gone all the way off screen and eliminated before the timer ticks in next one, or goes to the end of level script and eliminates everything, plus or minus losses and errors and such. Still think it's kind of funny that I only have 5 scripts that I'm using to rebuild this much of the functionality. I'm probably not going to need too many more for a little bit, at least for rebuilding the original So, good stuff. Good stuff. So then, oh yeah, the link up checker. Never set that up. Still not sure how I would set that up necessarily. First implementation, remake gallery prototype, and the stuff I would need for it. And as we know, I can't just use a vector 2 direction because position is a vector 3. Or a transform position, I should say. So it's containing a score value. So it should take x, y, velocity x, and velocity y. You wand to hit him? Yeah, no, that's pretty bad. Input. Input. It's weird to say it. So used to saying input. Input. That's silly. Gameplay variables, scores, hits, miss, errors, target count, current waves timer. Yeah, it's fine. I'm not really sure about that initiate level. I feel like that would probably be a series of enums, or just a big ol' class called levels, and the enums for every wave and all the stuff that goes into it would be available there. Unity is a great engine. It's really powerful. It's capable of a lot. Can do a lot with it. Ports everywhere. That's kind of a reason why it's basically become the industry standard. I would say the same about Autodesk products, except Unity is actually affordable. People can actually use it. Autodesk, all of their stuff is fucking super gouged just to get access to. Like Maya. Ridiculous. So it's not just that Unity is a powerful engine, it's also an available engine. We have access to it. We can do whatever we need to it until we're actually ready to make money doing something monetized. And if somebody's actually ready to do that, I'd hope it's a good enough game to actually be worth monetizing. So I can see some of my initial planning doesn't necessarily work here, and that's fine. We're gonna have to refactor how things are kind of gonna go in the future here anyway. I think definitely tomorrow I need to just start on actually getting the dual input gallery functionality going, and see about starting to rebuild, even not even rebuild a specific level, just to be able to have that functionality. It's the sort of thing that I could probably make available to players to, if people really wanted, they could even make levels for it, and I could link them up. But you know what? I keep on yawning. I'm just kind of talking. I've looked over everything. I've looked over all of my scripts here. Things are commented well. Could use XML or raw data file to store level data. That's true. I mean, there's a lot of ways I can go about it. I guess I'll have to look into a little bit more when I get to that point, as well as trying to determine exactly how the wave systems are actually going to work. Because a wave could be just like 5 things spawning right then, or it could be the 5 things spawning then a delay, and then the next wave of 5, or the next grouping of 5 things, and then the next grouping of 5 things. So it's a kind of a staggered wave, but it's all in the same thing, and if all of those targets are destroyed within the kind of time period of that wave, it'll just snap it to the next wave and just deploy it immediately. That's going to be the kind of the fun thing, and that'll really be a significant improvement on the original dual input gallery to actually be able to do that. Alright, so I think I'm going to wrap up for the day here. Dungeon Man's tomorrow. Oh my goodness, everybody, you gotta tune in for it. I've got Jim, the maker of Dungeon Man's, actually is going to be coming through for Unity Daily. Going to be on from 1 to 3 p.m. Pacific time tomorrow. Of course, Unity Daily I'm going to be doing too from 10 to noon. So trying to figure out lighting animations and using code to trigger animations. Fariota, are you using the Pixel Nest tutorial? That'll actually get you up to snuff with animations really quickly. Yes, Nightbot. I was worried about Nightbot there. I was thinking he was sleeping on the job. Yeah, use that Pixel Nest tutorial to learn animation. The animation stuff, they teach it really, really easily, and it's enough stuff to at least get the basics in. If you need to get more complex, there are tutorials out there, but that'll at least get you from point A to being able to have something animated. Yeah. But yeah, like I said, wrapping up for the day. We've looked over everything. We have an actionable plan for tomorrow. Good stuff going on. Once again, Unity Daily tomorrow from 10 to noon because it's a weekend, and then an hour after that, I'll be doing Procedural Powerhouse's Dungeon Man's. And this will be more of the showing off the game and less of the, let's say, new play experience, just reviewing what the game's about and how it works. I might get a session in later today, no promises. I kind of want to get the game a little further along than it is right now, and make sure I'm comfortable with the controls and everything. But it's a fun game. It is, and it's really, really funny, really entertaining, very well written. In terms of the flavor text and everything everywhere, it's just hilarious. So yeah, tune in for that tomorrow. Gonna have, like I said, the maker on. He's gonna join with Skype for a little bit too, so should be pretty cool. And on that note, I am going to wrap up, so see y'all later. I got some beer to start brewing. Well, get the yeast started at least, and then brewing tomorrow, I think.